Alright, we are back again here for another amazing videos on how you can land your next online job. My name is Clementine Afana, but everybody calls me Dr. Clem, and I teach you how to get an online job using the skills that you already have. Whether you are looking for a part-time or full-time online job, you are in the right place. Before we proceed on the theme of this video, make sure you subscribe so that you are notified every time I post amazing and educational videos like that. You might be wondering, but why should I subscribe? I haven't even heard what I should say. That's okay. Subscribe now and you're going to thank me later because this video is going to be good. In this video, I'm going to tell you about how to negotiate your rates for online jobs. By the way, even though I specialize on finding online jobs, this piece of advice can also be used for any type of job that you go for. It doesn't matter if it's online or if it's physical jobs, the tips and the tricks are the same. It's all a matter of strategy. Once you know the strategy, you can implement it to anywhere you go. You can enter any room where you want to be. You can go into any meetings and negotiate the life out of that deal and get the rate that you want. But first, you need to know what are the key elements that you have to present. What do you have to bring to the table? What do you offer? Before we dive deeper, let me tell you something. Negotiation is an exchange, right? You've probably read about it, you've probably heard it being said before, but I'm going to tell you about this in a different perspective. When you are negotiating, a lot of times people think about what they get out of the negotiation deal. But what I want to challenge you to do is think about what you are giving the other person. You want to think about what you are giving the other person, what the other person wants out of that negotiation, because the only way for you to get what you want is by giving somebody else what they want. That's right, you heard me well. Write this down for me. The only way for me to get what I want is by giving the other person what they want. Write it down right now. The only way for me to get what I want is by giving the other person what they want. And when you think about it that way, it puts you in a mindset where you are thinking about what you can offer to the other person. And if you are able to identify what you can offer to the other person that you want to negotiate with, you are already halfway into your negotiation. Okay? The same principles apply when you want to find an online job or when you want to negotiate your rates. So I'm going to give you three core elements or three staples on which negotiations for online jobs are based, and you're not going to find it anywhere else because I've searched for it myself and I haven't found it. So I'm giving you stuff that you are not going to find anywhere else. That's why you need to subscribe to this channel right now so that every time I post these amazing videos, you are the first one to know and to take action. You ready? All right. Number one, before negotiating for online work rates, before negotiating for your deals, you need to know what your expertise level is. Depending on the jobs that you're going for, you're going to see different clients requiring different expertise levels. And also, you can find jobs based on where you are. Don't think that you need to be an expert, like a top-rated person in your field before you can find an online job. Don't think that you need to have a degree. Don't think that you need to have 10 or 5 years of experience. It doesn't work like that. Yes, if you have all those things, it helps, but it's not like a deal breaker, like if you don't have 5 or 10 years of experience you can find a job. No, there are online jobs for people at different levels. There are some employers and some clients looking for people at the entry level, some clients are looking for people at the intermediate level, and some clients looking for people at the expert level. So depending on the level where you are in your specific skills category, you have a certain latitude to know how much you want to negotiate or how much you want to ask the client. So you need to know what your expertise level is. If you are a beginner, you're not going to ask expert rates. We are clear on that, right? At the same time, if you are an expert, you're not going to ask beginner's rates. Sorry, I was going to say beginner. If you're an expert, you're not going to ask beginner's rates. If you are here and there is also a way for you to negotiate, but it's important for you to know and to be clear on what your expertise level is. How confident, how comfortable are you with that specific skills, with that specific task or assignment? You need to know what your expertise level is. But be careful not to sink into imposter syndrome. What is imposter syndrome, you may ask? Imposter syndrome is basically usually a feeling of not being adequate for a specific task, even though you have the skills and the expertise to complete it. So when you want to get into negotiation, and when you're talking about knowing your expertise level, it doesn't have anything to do with it doesn't necessarily have to do with really how you feel or what your mind is trying to tell you is your expertise level, in the sense of having done that kind of work before, having had experience in that kind of field before, maybe having a degree to back up or to support your assumed experience. That's what we mean by being able to demonstrate your expertise level. So you need to demonstrate that. Depending on where you are, you have a certain window within which you can negotiate. And if you are negotiating outside of your expertise level, you're already setting yourself up for failure. So when a client is looking for somebody at the entry level, for example, right, and you are an expert, the client is looking for somebody who's at the entry level, so they want to have they want to pay the smallest rate, and they don't really need somebody to have a lot of experience. But you are an expert. If you go and quote that client for a very, very high rate, even if you are qualified, they're not going to hire you. Why? Because you are not giving them what they want. They want a certain level of expertise or experience, not really expertise, but experience, but they want to pay low rates, right? Because they are looking for somebody at the entry level. So you are not going to be applying for those jobs unless you really say, okay, I want to just give it a try and see, get my feet wet and so forth, but it wouldn't be the right jobs for you. Okay, so that's why it's important for you to know what your expertise level is, so that you can know how to best match your skills and your level with your clients. Are you getting what I'm saying so far? Make sure you subscribe right now if you haven't done so yet, because I post these kind of videos frequently. I'm trying to do it every week now. Wish me good luck. So make sure that you are really, really signed up, subscribed, and you will get notified every time I post these kind of videos. So we spoke about the first thing that you need to know before you negotiate your online rates. Number one, your expertise level. Okay. The second thing you need to know before you negotiate your online rate is the client's budget. It seems pretty self-explanatory, I know, because you're like, well, I need to know how much you have so that I can know how much I want to take from you, right? But let me break it down for you. When I talk about knowing the client's budget, is knowing how much the client is willing to spend, number one, and how much they are willing to go above that budget. And let me tell you how to do that. When you pitch yourself for an online job, depending on whether or not you are applying on an online work platform like a freelance platforms, like the common freelance platform that I have spoken about already and that I use, or applying directly to a company for an online job, you need to know what are their spending habits, how much they have spent before, how much they have paid their other remote workers or online workers before at the level where you are going, or maybe within your skills or your skills, or your scope of expertise. You need to kind of have an idea, because that will tell you what a client budget is. For example, a client might be looking to hire a graphic designer for a one-time project, and because the project is, let's say, a one-time project, they have a set fee, right? And that would be their budget. Maybe they would be willing to go above a few $100s or so. But the same client might also be looking for somebody on a long-term basis to provide graphic design services with a company on a full-time or part-time basis, but more like on a longer term, right? And the budget will be different. So for the one-time project, they might have been able to pay, let's say, $500 for this one-time logo or one-time brochure, because it was like a one-time thing and it was a short space of time and they wanted to get it done right away. But if you are talking about a longer-term project, the budget is going to be different, and so it's important for you to know what the client's budget is, not just for the project, but also based on the entire historical data of that company, how much they usually pay people who are working within that field. It's important for you, because if you don't find out how much the clients usually pay, then you're going to go in your negotiation completely blinded. This could be a company that is used to pay people $100 an hour, and you are going there asking for $15. They're going to be like, okay, you want $15? Okay, cool. We're going to give you $15. Okay, take it. And then when you start working with them, you realize that they are paying all the other freelancers or remote workers higher rates, and then you get frustrated and you try to renegotiate and you're not able to, right? So it's important for you to know how much they pay for that project, but also how much they tend to pay usually for people within your same scope of skills and for that same type of projects. And the third thing that you want to know before you start your online job negotiation is, what is the long-term earning potential for this project? I hinted a little bit of that in the second example, but we're going to dive deeper into this for this third point. So some jobs are one-time things, right? Like a one-time job, you hit and go, you do the job, you finish, you sign up on your contract, you get paid, and basta, right? Other jobs have a longer earning potential. So those will be jobs where you are paid for on an hourly basis, where a client is looking to hire for somebody for like 6 months to a year and so forth. So when you are faced with clients like that, usually the strategy is to reduce your rates because you have a long-term earning potential. And it's almost like if you are going to a store and you are buying everything in bulk, like a lot of items in bulk, and they give you a discount, right? Or if you are patronizing your friend's business and you are making like huge purchases, and they are giving you a discount. Or if you're going on a website and they tell you that you're going to get $20 off if you spend $200 and above, right? That is a discount because you are spending a lot. So similarly, if you are going for a job that has a long-term earning potential, which means the client is going to pay you on a longer-term basis, so you're going to be working with them for a longer-term basis, it's wise for you to secure the client. It's wise for you to break down your costs a little bit so that you can secure that client and earn longer on a longer basis. Let's say, for example, you are going to charge that client $20 an hour, right? For a part-time job. Let's just say $20 for like a random fee. But they're telling you that they want to have you on board for 6 months, and they ask you to negotiate to drop your rate. And you said, you know what? No, I'm gonna stay with my $20. They might keep you for a month, right? And during that month, you make $20 an hour. Whereas you could have brought down your rate to $15 and work with them for 6 months. And if you had picked the second option, then you would have been able to secure and guarantee your income for 6 months, which means 5 more months after the first month where you were planning to work with them. You see how you have to think? Yes. So when you want to negotiate with clients, you need to think about the long-term earning potentials. So let's recap everything that we have said. Before you get into your online job negotiation, there are 3 key things that you need to take into consideration. Number 1, what is your level of expertise? You need to know where you are in terms of your skills, abilities, and capacity to deliver the job. Number 2, you need to think about what is the client's budget, and not just the budget for that specific project, but you also need to look at historical data and figure out how much the client is used to pay for these kind of projects. And number 3, you need to think about the long-term earning potential for that job, which means if there is a potential for you to work with a client on a longer term basis, you might need to review your rates just so that you can secure and lock the client before you continue the relationship. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want more videos like this, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, and you're going to be notified every single time I release this kind of level, high quality, high information videos. And before you go, I wanted to let you know about something that I'm releasing soon. I have a specific project that I've been working on for the past few weeks, and it's going to give you access to exclusive materials that you can use on your own for you to be able to land an online job at your own pace in your own time. It's a specific bundle that I'm creating specifically for the people who are following me, who are listening to my advice, who are taking action, for action takers. This bundle is going to be released on the 26th of November, and you want to get your hands on it when it's released because it's going to be amazing. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on all the notifications so that you are notified whenever it gets released. But announcement is it's going to be released on the 26th of November on all my platforms. Make sure you are tuned in to get access to it first. See you on the next video. Take care.